So many people were in their beds, fast asleep, when the floodwaters began to rapidly rise early on the 4th of July. The catastrophic flooding killing at least 104 people in 6 counties.
The Texas flooding. So what I know about the flooding, what I've seen with the research that I have done, it sounded like it rose like 26 feet in 45 minutes, which is absolutely insane to me. I can't imagine it. Mother Nature is a scary mother. Scary mother. Mother Nature is very scary. That's all I can say. But let's jump right into it. So we got a video we're going to watch where it breaks it down. And then just some people who are thinking about who should be accountable for it. But, I mean, who can be accountable for Mother Nature? But let's jump right over into that. But let's get into it.
And good evening. We come on the air tonight from Texas's hill country. Just below us is the Guadalupe River, and you can see the destruction it carved out in parts of central Texas. Down there is where the river stands tonight, and we wanted to show you how high it rose, more than 30 feet, even higher from where we are broadcasting live tonight, wiping out everything in its way. And today we were with rescuers digging into mangled cars, caked in mud along riverbanks, crews setting out on airboats and diving into the river, all trying to find signs of life. Survivors trapped, airlifted from their homes to safety. You see it right here. The destruction immense. You can see bridge.
That is wild. Like I said, Mother Nature is very scary. Can't imagine just waking up and your house is flooded and you gotta immediately grab who you can and grab your people and run and hopefully be able to make it away from the rising water. But that is absolutely wild.
Just wiped out completely. And new videos showing the quick rise of the nearby Llano River. This in under an hour. Look at that water rise.
People kept backing up.
Camp Mystic grieving the loss, and this is hard to say, of 27 campers and counselors. You can see the heartbreaking images, the high water line inside the cabins where children slept. Wow. Muddy.
So if you're looking, the water line is up to here, above all the beds. What is that? Probably at least 6 feet of water. 6 feet. Oh my God, that's crazy. And all campers, I think this is the little girls' campers. These are
mattresses, stuffed animals, and trunks all left behind. With so many holding out hope, more will be found alive.
Main thing we got to say is that we got to keep everybody in Texas in our prayers. That is crazy. I know a lot of loss, a lot of grieving. If you're grieving, go find someone to talk to. Don't try to just deal with it on your own. Some people can, but some people can't. And that's the problem. They're the people we have to look out for, because you don't want to lose yourself in grief. But that is absolutely tragic. Let's keep going.
Tonight, battling the heat, mud, and misery, they're looking for any signs of life. Search and rescue teams on the Guadalupe River furiously combing through massive mountains of debris.
We're in the middle of the river right now, and just behind me, you can see why this search and recovery is so complicated. There are mounds of this mangled steel and tree branches and tree trunks. This team is trying to figure out a way inside to see what, if anything, or anyone is still trapped.
An all-out search for survivors by water, air, and horseback.
All over this area, you see homes and trailers and RVs with this giant orange X. It means they've been searched. We hope whoever lived in here got out, because you can see what the river water did to this, flipping this entire RV over, destroying everything inside.
Volunteer firefighter Wyatt Kelly has been at this for days.
What kind of things have you seen out here?
Unthinkable things. I mean, there's things that no one ever would have thought they've seen in their lifetime.
So many people were in their beds, fast asleep.
That is crazy. Let's back that up just a tad bit.
I mean, there's things that no one ever would have thought they've seen in their lifetime.
So many people were in their beds, fast asleep, when the floodwaters began to rapidly rise early on the 4th of July. The catastrophic flooding killing at least 104 people in 6 counties, including Julian Ryan, who was with his mother, kids, and wife Christina in their trailer home as the water began to rise.
My husband started panicking because there was no way for us to get out. There was no way for us to get up. And so he tried to bust out the window and sliced his arm almost off.
Christina says he quickly began to bleed out.
What do you remember? I'm so sorry you had to see your son go through that.
I just remember holding him so he would get swept in the flood. Blood going everywhere. His last words to me was, "Mom, I love you. And you make sure you tell everybody else I love you. Love them."
Tragedy also playing out at Camp Mystic, which says 27 of its campers and counselors are among the dead and missing. Hallie Thompson's 10-year-old daughter somehow managed to escape from her cabin.
My daughter grabbed onto a tree and grabbed the hand of her friend and put it on the tree. And so one by one, those girls came out and found anything they could cling to.
Hallie and 4 other family members were nearby. Their cabin was also surrounded by water. She says their neighbors saved their lives.
It feels wrong or strange to feel how grateful that I am that we're all alive while we are still waiting for word about friends' daughters, and while we have received word.
That is one of the most, that's something I can't imagine. I cannot imagine. You're feeling relieved that your family made it, but and also you don't know if it's right to feel that way because so many people of your friends and family and neighbors have lost their people and don't know if they're alive or not. That is, I can't imagine going through that. Truly can't imagine.
Of the friends' daughters who've died.
Lila Bonner, Sarah Marsh, Janie Hunt, Eloise Peck, and twins Hannah and Rebecca Lawrence, just some of the young campers whose lives were cut tragically short. Kellyanne Littall is still missing. Her dad posting this video of her solo at a Christmas pageant, asking prayers for a miracle. You can see the flood's devastating toll on the century-old all-girls camp in these images. Look at how high the water came into the cabin. The floodwaters tossing muddy mattresses from bunk beds. This pink trunk with the name L flipped on its side. A stuffed animal left behind. A camp nurse posting this haunting video of some of the little girls singing as they evacuated.
The Lord of love has come to me.
The 4th of July holiday brought many families to the cabins that dot the river's edge.
We don't know everybody who was here, so we don't know everybody who's missing.
Could be even worse, you're saying?
Yeah, it will be worse because we don't know everybody who's missing.
Joe Herring Jr. is the mayor of Kerrville.
Took me completely by surprise. I'm sad to say I didn't know. If there was any way on God's green earth that we could have warned people, we would have done it, but we did not know.
13-year-old
flash flood. That's all it can be. It's a very spontaneous. You get the notifications from your phone, and honestly, a lot of people look at it, and especially where I am, I'm not too close to the water, but we'll look at the notification and just, oh, well, flash flood, and we don't even think about it. We don't. Yeah. Let's keep going.
Blair Harbor and 11-year-old sister Brooke were there spending the holiday in a cabin with their parents and grandparents. Their bodies were found 15 miles down the river together. Their school wrote a, quote, powerful symbol of their lasting bond. Their parents survived.
Your daughters are found, what does they say, miles down the road, 15 miles downstream together? That is probably holding each other. Yeah, this is.
But their grandparents are still missing. Amid the heartbreaking loss of life, there are also remarkable stories of survival. After this woman was swept 20 miles down the river, she clung to a tree for hours until rescuers and boats were able to come and save her. In Hunt, Texas, Diana Smith says she woke up to find her house surrounded by water.
Open the front door and it sweeps both my dogs different directions, and I'm panicking, thinking, now what the hell am I going to do?
She says she called 911, but no one came.
I said a prayer when I was standing on my porch. Both my parents are deceased, And I said, Mom, Dad, God, help.
She managed to jump into a kayak with her dogs, paddling to safety. 11-year-old Kaylin Kubina was at Camp La Junta, 6 miles from Camp Mystic.
We looked outside and we just saw like an ocean out there. It's just like completely destroying everything.
There's people in it. Oh my God, there's so many people in it.
This cabin appeared to float away in the floodwaters. Still, the camp says everyone was able to evacuate to safety.
We saw like whole cabin just floating down, and that's when we knew like things were getting actually real out there. Like we were starting to realize that this was a real natural disaster crisis.
We were with the Alvarado family as the reality set in. Their 2 daughters were in this RV when the river surrounded them. These are the images of what they saw outside of their windows.
We couldn't see through the water, but we could see the currents moving, and it just kept going. Like there was no end to it.
Their dad came to their rescue along with a neighbor, pulling the girls to safety. Brooke, the oldest of the 2, looking down at the river and realizing how some girls just like her weren't as lucky.
When you guys heard about all the people that didn't make it, I mean, what was that like? I mean, to know that like you were right here.
It hurt. I'm sorry. It just sucks that a lot of people just lost their lives, but it's really good to hear about the people that are getting out and stuff.
So many stories just like that all along this river. And as you heard the mayor say there, so many were taken by surprise. The question tonight, why? And what could have been done to prevent so many lives lost? Ryan Chandler.
Now, I don't know if anything could have been done. Maybe you have sirens put up and play, because they said 26 feet is a lot. That is crazy. Over where I stay, I'm like, think the bottom of my house is like 26 feet from the lake near me. They got dams and spillways and stuff like that. So if anything ever happened, they can release the spillways to lower the water. But that is absolutely crazy. I don't know if anything can be done other than maybe big emergency sirens. That's the only thing I can think about. Because I'm assuming they sent out the flood warnings, but you're knocked out in your sleep, you're not going to hear it. You got to have something posted, I guess, everywhere, but Jesus.
There's also in Kerrville tonight along the Guadalupe River banks. And Ryan, the river that everybody loved turned deadly so quickly. What are you hearing from residents on just how fast this turned for the worst?
Yeah, Tom, one woman here told me as late as Thursday evening, with flood watches in effect, people were getting ready to celebrate the 4th of July at the park along this river. Just hours later, it would be completely underwater. So many people just had no idea what was coming.
Kerrville resident Michelle Pittman had no idea that death and destruction was coming downriver.
You know, this was something that happened that no one was prepared for.
As the urgent search continues, questions and calls for accountability grow about how many in this community were caught by such surprise.
Who can you hold accountable for a natural disaster? Like, I don't know.
Rest assured, no one knew this kind of flood was coming.
Many questioning why neighborhoods and camps along the Guadalupe River were not told to evacuate earlier.
Very tough to make those calls because what we also don't want to do is cry wolf.
At Camp Mystic, the Texas Lieutenant Governor says campers were awakened only by thunder and lightning. Phones not allowed by camp rules. He's now pushing for state lawmakers to fund more outdoor warning sirens.
Got to. See, what did I say? More outdoor warning sirens. You got to have. There's no way. You got to have a bunch of. That's one of the most reliable. If you hear a giant siren going off and you're near the river and it's screaming flood, run, evacuate, getting up out of there. It's got to be loud enough to wake you out of your sleep. Right as soon as the water starts getting too high and you're thinking it's going to keep rising, nah. Sound the alarms and as loud as you can. Turn that volume all the way up. It needs to be able to wake people out of their sleep. I don't care if eardrums bust. Wake the room. Turn that all the way up.
Kids, we should have those sirens. Need to go back step by step,
and look at what happened and why it happened.
The National Weather Service says a flood watch at 1:18 p.m. Thursday was elevated on Friday at 1:14 a.m. to urgent flash flood warnings for Kerr County, sending emergency alerts to cell phones and weather radios. Then at 4:03 a.m., an upgrade to a flash flood emergency. But for so many, those warnings went unheard.
Obviously, most people at 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. are asleep. And so I think we will have a reasonable conversation about, A, are there any ways to have earlier detection?
Senator Ted Cruz defending the National Weather Service amid concerns of staffing shortages, saying Congress will act.
We did see a lot of people.
Yeah, like I said, if I'm asleep, it might wake me up, but you need something that's like, I don't hate to say it, breaking eardrums. You got to have something that's going crazy loud, waking everyone. I don't care if it wakes. It's got to wake everyone. Everyone has to wake up from that siren.
Heroically taking kids out of harm's way, but it should have happened earlier. How we make that happen, I think, is a very reasonable discussion.
As so many still grieve, many questioning how to prevent the next disaster. Ryan Chandler, NBC News, Kerrville, Texas.
Now that is absolutely crazy. Now, like I said before, we gotta make sure we keep everybody in our prayers. That is an absolutely wild sight. I can't imagine being woken up and just out of nowhere, I feel water touching my feet. Oh my God. Grab what I can. At the end of the day, when an emergency, you can't even grab nothing. You just got to grab the people. Jesus Christ. All right, everybody, remember this is AC Reviews the Word. Remember to like and subscribe.